was the most popular kid at school. Everyone loved me. The girls, the teachers, the parents. The girls loved me for my charms and good looks, and there were always rumors of girls having crushes over me and fighting for me. The teachers loved me because I was a really good student. I always handed in work on time and I was pretty smart. Not only my own parents, but the parents of other kids loved me because they thought I set such a good role model for others. I was popular, great at sports, and I won a lot of awards too. Life was pretty amazing. That is, until I became the most hated kid at school because of a viral video. But more on that later. Before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any more crazy stories. If you do, you will become really popular at school. Trust me, it really works. My best friend Charlie was also pretty popular. We were known as the Two Kings. Every guy wanted a best friend like Charlie or me. Every girl wanted to date a guy like Charlie or me. Everyone wanted to be a part of the Two Kings. This caused some problems sometimes. Charlie's younger brother, Daniel, was not like Charlie at all. Daniel was, how do I say it, a nerd. He was boring. He only cared about doing work and he was willing to throw others under the bus just to get a good grade. Like one time, a kid in his class had been up since 5 a.m. the night before to finish an assignment, and Daniel had snitched on him to the teacher. Nobody really liked Daniel. It was hard for Charlie because it was his younger brother, but Daniel was also pretty annoying. Daniel always wanted to hang out with Charlie and me, the Two Kings. He wanted to be like us, or at least he wanted others to like him as much as they liked us. But he didn't get that he couldn't just force people to like him. If you were a good person, then they would like you. But if you weren't, then they wouldn't like you. As simple as that. But Daniel didn't get it. Anyway, one day I was at Charlie's house just to hang out. Charlie and I always have so much fun, and one of our favorite things to do is film a bunch of videos of ourselves just doing random stuff. We have done this kind of thing since we were kids. Sometimes we'd film little skits or we'd film people. That day, we were just filming ourselves in the garden. Charlie had the camera and was focusing on me, when his mom called to say that she had baked a pie and asked me to come over and carry it into the garden where we could eat it and enjoy it. I was so excited to eat some of Charlie's mom's famous pie, so I bolted straight into the kitchen. I ran back out, and then that's when it happened. My foot must have caught a lump of grass or something because suddenly I was falling, and then I fell face first into the pie. I glanced up, whipped cream all over my face, and Charlie was rolling on the ground laughing. "I caught all of that on camera," he yelled. I was so embarrassed and begged Charlie not to post it. "Please, don't show anyone this," I said, and I literally got on my knees and held my hands up as I begged, "Please don't." Charlie laughed again, but then he agreed, and I was ready to put it behind me. I went inside, cleaned myself up a bit, apologized to his mom for ruining her pie, and then Charlie and I actually ate the rest of the pie afterwards, with my face imprinted in it still. Those were good times. Anyway, life went on. Well, for the rest of that night, I went home, went to bed, and woke up the next morning feeling good. Little did I know, something huge had happened overnight, and it would change my life as I knew it. I was on my phone that morning before school when I saw it on my Insta feed. The video of me face diving into a pie had gone viral. It had over 10 million views. I couldn't believe it. Over 10 million people had seen my most embarrassing video. The comments were full of people mocking and teasing me, and I had somehow got the nickname Clown Boy. I was mortified. The worst part was, I was wearing my school uniform, and now everyone was flaming my school. Here are some examples of the comments. "Oh my God, I feel so sorry for the school Clown Boy is going to. So embarrassing. His school uniform shows that he goes to Taverton High. I am not sending my kid there next year. Taverton High should expel him. What a disgrace. He ruined the Taverton High name." The comments went on, and some are too rude to tell you on this channel. But you have to trust me when I say they weren't holding back. I was so confused how this video had even gotten online. Had Charlie posted it? But the original poster had an anonymous account. Why would Charlie hide something like this? I couldn't believe Charlie would do something like this even though I specifically asked him not to. I immediately called him on the phone and confronted him. "Charlie, I yelled into the phone. "Why did you post it?" "Post what?" came his voice through the phone. "The video of me falling into a pie face." "What? I didn't post that." "It has over 10 million views." "You're kidding." "I'm not, Charlie. I told you not to post it. Now everyone is teasing me and talking about what a disappointment I am." "Dude, I literally didn't post it. I'm telling the truth." I was hesitant at first, but it seemed like Charlie was actually being honest. But it still didn't explain how the video had gotten out. I decided to just ignore it for now and get ready for school. When I arrived at class, it was like I was the new kid all over again. Everyone stared at me with an evil look in their eyes. Even the teachers glared at me. I knew there must have been only one good explanation for this: the viral video. I sat down and someone passed me a note. I opened it and this is what it said. "You're such an embarrassment. You disgraced our school." Underneath, there was a drawing of a stick man, who I assumed was me, with pie on top of his head. I crumpled up the note and threw it in the bin, trying to avoid everyone's glares, but it was obvious that everyone hated me. At the lunch table, I sat down in my usual seat. That table was usually full of other kids as well, but they all seemed to have disappeared. No one even wanted to be within a meter's distance of me. It was like I had the plague or something. Somehow, overnight, I turned from being the most popular kid at school to the most hated kid. Charlie was still popular, however, and if anything, he was more popular now that I was out of the league. As the two kings, we sort of had to share the popularity, but now that I was out of the picture, he dominated the popularity scales. He was by far the most popular kid at school. Even though he still spoke to me, the most hated kid, and still acted like my best friend, he was still the most popular. It made me suspicious. Charlie had so much to gain through posting that video of me. He probably knew it would ruin my reputation. He must have gotten jealous because I was so popular and he didn't want to have to compete with me. I came to the conclusion that Charlie had to be the one who posted it. I confronted him, but he was immediately in denial. "I didn't do it. I already told you," he cried out. I decided there was no other choice. I had to break off our friendship, and that's exactly what I did. I stopped hanging out with Charlie. I avoided him at all times. This didn't help my popularity levels at school because now I wasn't even friends with the most popular kid. Instead, I hung out with Charlie's younger brother, Daniel, who I never really got along with, but I wanted to make Charlie jealous. I wanted him to regret posting that video, to see how much he'd miss me. The thing was, Charlie didn't seem that bothered whenever I saw him. Since he was popular, he didn't have any trouble finding new friends. Meanwhile, I still found Daniel pretty boring, but I just put up with it. As all these things were happening at school, the internet world was going crazy over my video. I ended up getting invited to a talk show about the viral video, but it wasn't really that good because the host and audience were just constantly making fun of me. They kept teasing me about it, and if anything, it ruined my relationship with my school. Taverton High became known as Taverton Pie. In the end, this viral video ruined my life. I lost my best friend, was unpopular, and had a bad reputation. Everyone at school hated me. I didn't think things could get any worse. For weeks, things went on like this. I hung out with Daniel even though he was incredibly boring, and I continued to be hated at school. But suddenly, one day, Charlie turned up at my house telling me he had important information. "Just leave, Charlie. I don't want to see you," I said. "Please, this is really important," replied Charlie. I didn't want to let him in, but he seemed so earnest, so I reluctantly allowed him to enter. We went up to my room and Charlie immediately ran to my computer. "Hey," I cried out, "what are you doing?" "Just wait," he replied. He was opening up my viral video. I was so confused as to what he was doing. Was he trying to rub it in my face or something? "What are you doing?" I asked in frustration. "Look, I was able to trace the IP address of the account that posted this video," said Charlie. He typed something on the screen, and then he asked me to take a look. What I saw made my jaw drop. Beside the account number, there was an image of the person who had posted the video, and it was none other than Daniel, Charlie's younger brother. I couldn't believe it. I would never have expected Daniel to be the one who posted it. I realized that Daniel must have found Charlie's camera when he got home and posted the video of me without asking. I was furious. Why would Daniel do something like this? And how could he allow me and Charlie to separate like that, even though he knew full well that it was his fault? Thankfully, Charlie and I became best friends again, And Charlie actually ended up posting a video of himself doing the same thing. He fell face first into a pie on purpose, and he posted it online. He told me if people were going to boycott me because of it, then they could go ahead and boycott him too. I really loved him for that. Strangely, it suddenly became a trend at our school to post a video of yourself getting pie-faced, and I became popular again. I was just glad to have my best friend back. When I confronted Daniel about the video, he was very embarrassed. Daniel said he was sorry and that he just wanted to be popular like me. Although it was pretty uncool of him, I forgave him, and in the end, everything was fine again. Who knew a single pie could change your life so much?